the AM. Also available online at sportstalk1051.com, where you can check out the video stream link. Got the Sports Talk app, and of course your Google and Alexa home devices. We're making a turn here this morning, people. Halfway through the work week, kind of see the weekend coming right around the corner. Anybody else ready for the weekend? I'm ready. Gonna get through it. Gonna get there. Let's do it, because we got family night for the Packers coming up Friday, and then the best time of the year, we got preseason football coming up. Yes, I know I'm being a little sarcastic, but if you don't know me, then you wouldn't get it. If you do know me, you would get it. So just saying. Oh man, but I got a feeling that a lot of you got some stuff to say about yesterday's trade deadline coming and passing, especially when it comes to your Milwaukee Brewers. Brewers not adding a bat by the deadline. They did acquire another bullpen arm, Trevor Rosenthal, but he won't be available until they're thinking end of August. He hasn't pitched in a couple of years. He's going through a hamstring injury right now. The Giants signed him just about a few days ago, and the Brewers trading for him. So Brewers adding more options to that bullpen. But the big one, they didn't add a bat. So what do you make of that, Brewers fans? What are your thoughts on that with the Brew Crew not adding that bat before the deadline? Is it a little deflating for you? Is it like, oh, they missed out? I mean, we'll get to some comments from what David Stearns had to say yesterday. But essentially, he said, they were in some conversations and such, but just nothing went through. Big day yesterday for the Padres, though, for crying out loud. Holy moly. I mean, day after they acquired Josh Hader, they get Juan Soto. I didn't think Juan Soto was going to be traded. I thought a price would be too much, but not only did they get Juan Soto, they got Bell. Padres, I mean, holy cow. And then they get, they make a couple more moves. Padres are really going into this thing, baby. So, I mean, on the surface, they look like they won yesterday. At least, if we're just kind of like, winners from trades and that sort of stuff. But man, talk about a last 24 hours ish for the Padres. And if you're a Padres fan, all right. But again, what are your thoughts, Brewers fans? Yesterday's game last night, Brewers falling to the Pirates. They jumped out to a lead, but Corbin Burns not really having his stuff last night. 5 walks. First time in his Major League Baseball career issuing just 5 walks there. He got 3 solo shots from the Brewers offense. It was just a kind of a clunker of a performance, a dud of a performance from the Brewers last night. Don't know. I mean, obviously a lot of the players beforehand, Brandon, Corbin, Devin Williams, were getting asked about the Josh Hader trade and their thoughts. So I'm sure it was, fresh in their mind and all that sort of stuff. But don't know if it necessarily had an impact on the game. But gotta move on, boys. Gotta move on. Got to get the job done yet. 59 more games left to go here. And it ain't going to get any easier coming up here. So take care of business against Pittsburgh. Take care of business at home against Cincinnati. And then big time stretch coming up here in the middle of August. But how are you feeling, Brewers fans? I really want to know. I'm really curious whether you're like, I'm good with the Brewers not making a move. I'm glad they didn't overspend. I'm glad, I believe in this team. I don't know if they could have made that much more improvements out there, or are you upset? Are you deflated? Are you a little irritated? I want to hear from you, okay? Let me know. Shoot me some texts. Hit me up with a text, 715-830-1912 on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line. As you heard Morgan say in the news bit there, but in case you haven't heard, baseball world, sports world lost another legend, Vin Scully, passing away at the age of 94. I mean, when you think about one of the most iconic voices in baseball and all of sports, Vin Scully is easily got to be towards the top of the list right there for everybody. I mean, I got to imagine Vin Scully's at the top, if top five, top three, if he's not your top one. But another legend in the sports world passing away, age 94. So, yeah, obviously we've had some iconic voices in sports, right? Throughout the years, we've had some very iconic ones, whether it's been football or such. Baseball has had a plethora of just iconic ones. We Brewers fans, we're lucky to have one on our airways, Mr. Bob Uecker. Hopefully, we still get to for a little bit longer here. But you've got Jack Buck back in the day. You had Vin Scully. If you want to go to the football world, it's Madden and Summerall. Al Michaels still going on out there, but Vin Scully definitely on the top of the list there. There's no doubt about it. So we'll talk some baseball coming up here in just a few minutes on that Wisconsin Credit Union opening drive. But with the trade deadline come to pass, and some of the moves that the Padres made, would you say the Padres have vaulted into the team to beat? Yay or nay? Or are you like, nah, that doesn't always work out. But you look at that Padres lineup, and it's like, ooh, Juan Soto, Josh Bell now added to that. You got Fernando Tatis Jr. You got Manny Machado. Ooh, man, it's hard not to like what that lineup has. We'll chat a little football. Not a whole lot going on from practice yesterday. So, but we'll give you some updates. Yesterday, the full-on pads were on. The full-on pads were on yesterday. It sounds like Jordan Love had a decent day yesterday for the green and gold. Romeo Dubs making some catches again, making some plays in practice. So he continues to be the shine, but it sounds like some issues with the punt returners in terms of catching the football in punts. I know the wind was a little crazy apparently out there, but yeah, when if you were following along on social media and such, you probably saw that some of the punt returners were having some issues cleanly catching the football. Jair Alexander did not participate in like the practice, did the individual drills. But don't worry, if anybody's wondering if there's something wrong with him, it was not injury related, according to the reports that were there. But we'll touch on a little bit of football. But the big thing in the football world, and I got a feeling maybe a Grind My Gears Tuesday might overflow into a Grind My Gears Wednesday, not only with maybe some of the Brewers stuff and baseball, but yesterday the big thing in the NFL was the tampering thing with Miami Dolphins owner Ross, and the reports that the Dolphins had tampered with trying to get Sean Payton to be their head coach, and then tampering with Thomas Brady back in 2019 throughout the whole season and into like the postseason. It sounded like trying to see if they could get him aboard to the Dolphins, in which the Dolphins got penalized. They lose a pick, they get fined, but some people kind of questioning why didn't Sean Payton and Tom Brady also get penalized or get into a little bit of trouble. Ian O'Connor, who we've had on the program before, the New York Post sports columnist, he wrote the book a few years ago, Belichick, the new one on Coach K. So he's got a little bit of insight with the Patriots and that, but thought he made a good point. Andrew Brandt made a similar point too. Ian said NFL players who are under contract are now apparently free to have, quote, numerous and detailed negotiations with other clubs without fear of penalty. That's the precedent set here with Tom Brady. And Andrew Brandt kind of said the same thing a little bit. So, like, you got people questioning now. It's like, well, how come Brady didn't get in trouble? How come he, And I thought it was interesting, though, too. Like, look at the two parties involved here. You got Sean Payton, who was suspended for a year because of Bounty Gate. And then you had Thomas Brady with the Deflate Gate thing. Part of me almost wonders if the NFL just didn't want to bother and going down that road with those two individuals again in terms of like suspending or fining them because they didn't want the backlash again with those two. Obviously, they're big names in the game, especially Tom Brady. They maybe didn't want the negative publicity. I don't know. That's just pure speculation, but I thought it was interesting that it's those two individuals who have had, some issues in the past with the NFL, some highly publicized, issues and penalties and such. So did that have a bearing in it? I don't know. But it is a question now. It's like, with tampering, we throw that out there. Tampering's a joke, by the way, because, some teams get penalized for it. Some obviously don't. We hear it a little bit more in regards to the NBA world, it seems like. I mean, Bucks fans know, they got hit with tampering a couple years ago. But, I mean, when you look at this now, it's like, yeah, I mean, if a current player is talking to another team, they can't get in trouble anymore, right? I mean, because look at it. Look, I mean, the report from the NFL clearly said, yeah, they were talking with Brady for like a season while he was with the Patriots. I mean, come on. So I don't know, but maybe a little grind my gears Wednesday on that for some people. We'll see. We're switching it up here a little bit, and usually on Fridays we do a little Feel Good Friday, but we're going to switch it up here and we're going to actually make it, a Feel Good Wednesday, making a turn Wednesday. We're making a turn on this week, looking ahead, straight positive stuff. So we're going to switch that up and we're changing our Habitat for Humanity, Chippewa Valley Habitat for Humanity Feel Good Fridays to Feel Good Wednesday. So we'll get to that coming up here a little bit later on. It is, as we mentioned, making the turn. So your stock reports, whose stock is up and whose stock is down. Play along with us. Stock up, stock down. Maybe again, for a lot of you, it's the Brewers. I don't know. Also, we'll do a little match game coming up about 7:40 this morning, so about an hour and 20 minutes from now. But let's get things going here. All right, let's just jump right into this baby. I want to hear from you, Brewers fans. Start hitting me up with some texts. 715-830-1912. What are your feelings on the lack of moves from the Brewers in terms of the offense? I don't want to downplay. They did add some more arms to their pen. I don't want to overlook that because I think their pen did get a little bit deeper, in my opinion. They lose a great talent in Josh Hader, but I feel like they did add a couple arms to make it a little bit of a deeper pen. But I think it surprised a lot of people that the Brewers did not add a bat to the team before the deadline. So you're looking at this offense. This is it, baby. This is what they are. Now, what are your thoughts on that? We'll get to some comments from David Stearns, what he had to say as it was leading up to the deadline yesterday. And with all the moves that were made, Padres, obviously the big team from the last 24 plus hours. Are the Padres the favorite in your opinion with all their moves? What do you say? So start hitting me up with some texts or even some tweets at DANKASPER, Facebook.com/Kasper Sports, or on the stream, the video stream. Let's take that first break, and then opening up things here this morning. Wisconsin Credit Union opening drive. Talking some baseball after these quick words. the Dodgers, the Cardinals again, and all that fun stuff. I want to see that. But are you frustrated, Brewers fans? I want to hear from you. Send me a text, 715-830-1912. I'll load them up here. We're going to take a quick break, though. We'll check them out. Finish up the first hour. Taking a look at Game 2 tonight.
The Dan Kasper Show will be right back.
Taking the family out to eat can be tough because everybody wants something different. Hy-Vee has a solution, though. From scratch-made pizzas and fresh Asian foods to great handmade burgers, sandwiches, salads, and the incredible breakfast menu served every day. The most exciting food service location in the Chippewa Valley has what you are looking for. Are you looking for a carryout? The buckets of chicken tenders or fried chicken are a great option as well. Make your meals easy with the help from Hy-Vee, and I'll see you there.
Are you a veteran, or do you know a veteran who needs help? Those who bravely served our country should not have to worry about how they're going to afford their next meal, where they're going to sleep at night, or how to get help for mental health or substance use challenges. Help might be closer than you think. The Wisconsin Department of Veterans Affairs Veterans Outreach and Recovery Program is here to assist. Our specialists, all across the state, are experts in case management and have the resources and community connections that can change your life. With our network of partners, like your local county veteran service officer, we can help connect veterans with services such as medical care, financial and legal assistance, housing, mental health services, substance abuse treatment, and more. In the past year alone, our specialists have helped hundreds of veterans and their families, even some who thought they may not be eligible for services. We stand ready to serve you. For more information, call 1-800-WIS-VETS or visit wisvets.com. That's WISVets.com. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Veterans Affairs with funding provided by the Milwaukee Brewers and the Brewers Community Foundation.
Hey, it's Alex here to talk about the Shoe Doctor. And if you remember last summer, I had to stop going on my daily bike rides because I developed plantar fasciitis in my feet. I missed biking in my favorite season, fall. Well, I visited Kevin at the Shoe Doctor, and he said, easy fix, custom orthotic shoe inserts, like it was just a no-brainer. And you know what? He was right. I'm back out enjoying our beautiful weather on my bike, and he can help you with your foot aches and pains before they sideline you. It's Kevin and the Shoe Doctor across from Hy-Vee off Claremont in Eau Claire.
Do you remember the countless times when you were young and playing in the backyard, daydreaming of playing against or with your favorite athlete, or imagining yourself chasing your dreams and experiencing life the way you're supposed to? That's how we came up with a name for Backyard Dreams. Backyard Dreams is WAYY Sports Talk 105.1 790 AM's charitable entity. We have 5 main goals for Backyard Dreams: to provide and promote opportunities for anyone to have a chance to play, to help anyone overcome obstacles to chase their dreams, to help raise awareness for those in need, to help create opportunities for those to enjoy their passions, and to help those enjoy their life and create special memories. It doesn't matter if you are a child, teen, or an adult. Backyard Dreams wants to help anyone. For more information, success stories about Backyard Dreams, and if you know someone who could benefit from Backyard Dreams, just visit sportstalk1051.com and click on the Backyard Dreams tab. We will be debuting the first episode of the Pro Football Happy Hour, 2 to 3 p.m. every Wednesday, starting 2 weeks from today, focusing on fantasy football, betting lines, analysis, recaps, picks, all that good stuff. So be right here on the airwaves, but also in podcasting form. So make sure that you put that on your daily schedule. All right. G-Man, the ever optimistic G-Man. Captain, we're still in first place, so let's go the rest of the way. We got Drew from Eau Claire. It's mildly concerning that we have known for years that our pitching is not our weakness, yet we continue to rely on our boom or bust offensive output. It's very clear that Mark Antanasio told Stearns that he had no extra money to spend for bats. Another text, Rayman Mike, really hope they can pull it off this year, but I got a feeling it's over The moves that the Braves made or the Brewers made did not make them better. The teams ahead of them did, and did it big. If by chance they make the playoffs, it will be one and done. All right, let's take another phone call here this morning. What up, dude? How you feeling there this morning, C-Bomb?
Well, good morning, El Capitano, and I have not felt this gut punched by an athletic team in years, almost probably ever. And I was trying to think of how could I compare this to anything. They made these moves. Did they strengthen the bullpen? Yeah, maybe they did. They made it a little deeper, but did it make the team better? And I just say no. I think it'd be the equivalent of if the Packers were in the middle of the season and needed to make a move with our wide receiver group, and they trade Jair Alexander away to get Joe Hayden back, and then some other backup, defensive back. You traded away your best piece of that group, replaced it with something possibly equal, but probably not, and didn't improve the team. It made zero sense to me. And I feel gut punch. If you listen, like you read Devin Williams' statements, if you listen to that interview, he is not happy.
Mhm.
And how does the rest of the clubhouse feel? I feel like Stearns and is Antanazio. I don't know if it's Stearns, if it's Antanazio, what it is, but I have never been as pissed off as a fan of this team ever. This is the year. This year and next year, you go for it. We will never have a pitching staff like this. I will confidently say we will never have a pitching staff like this ever again. We had a couple bats and we were legit World Series contenders. And instead now we give our best piece of the bullpen right over to the Padres so they can walk themselves with the Dodgers right up to the NLCS or darn close to it. And it's frustrating for me. I think a lot of Brewers fans echo me. I know some we're fine with the Hader trade. I've said all year I'd be fine with a Hader trade if it makes the team better, but I don't think it did.
So it sounds like we got a little grind my gears coming from you this morning there, big guy. It's been a while since I heard you get this animated, frustrated with the team. All right,
it's the most pissed I've ever been at the Brewers in my life. Ever.
Really?
I mean, I've been a Brewer fan my whole life, and 2011, back when they got Sabathia, it's like, oh, we are finally good. We've got a shot. And I don't want to downplay 4 straight years into the playoffs. That is awesome. But we've tasted the playoffs. That's great. We need a World Series title. It would be like the Bucks trading away Giannis to get Kevin Durant and somebody else. Yeah, you got another great player, but you just threw away a fan favorite and didn't make the team better. And not just a fan favorite. He's a dominating closer and a huge part of the Brewers' success the last 4 years that got them to the playoffs and made them contenders in one game for being having a pennant. So I'm frustrated. I need somebody to make it make sense for me.
Mm-hmm. All right. So do you think, what's your outlook for these final 59 games? Do you think they make the postseason there, dude, or you don't have a whole lot of confidence right now?
Well, no, with this pitching staff, and we're in the crappiest division in baseball, if they don't make the postseason, Antanazio, is Stearns trying to tank it so Antanazio cuts him loose so he can go to the Mets or something? Honestly, I just need something to make sense of this trade for me. And maybe, I hope I am wrong. I hope I'm wrong and I can eat crow and we are laughing as we enter the World Series this year. But it is going to be one and done. If I had to bet my 401k, like G-Man likes to say, the Brewers they will not be in the NLCS. I guarantee you that.
All right, buddy. Appreciate the phone call and venting a little bit here this morning, sir.
Well, thanks for having me, brother. Brewers, please prove me wrong. But, I have never been so disappointed. You have a great day, Dan. Thanks for having me, buddy.
You too. Anybody else echoing C-Bomb's statements out there? Well, hit us up with some text and all that sort of stuff. Surveyor Sam, good to hear from you. They're big guy. Morning, DK. I think we need to take a break on the hitting for the Brewers. Just looking at some stats, we've played 103 games and are tied for 6th in total runs scored. with the Cardinals at 477. We also have 50 less at bats and 52 less hits than the Cardinals, but we've driven in 464 RBIs, which is good for fourth in the majors. Just need to take a little bit of a break on the offense. That's what I was, thank you, Surveyor, for sending that over. Because that was the question I kind of asked at the beginning there was, are we making too much of this offense or lack thereof offense? Are we giving them too much of a hard time? I was looking at Kurt Hogg's, post about the OPS and such. And then you've got, others saying they need the bat and such, or is it somewhere in the middle with everything? So thank you for bringing those numbers over to the table there, Surveyor. Appreciate you. We'll take a quick phone call here after this text. If you have started pitching, you always have a chance in the playoffs. Let's see if this gets a bat. Let's see if this gets a bat next year and how bats they got pan out. Okay. Let's take a quick phone call here this morning. Good morning. Who are we chatting with?
Hey, this is Brad. How you doing?
Hey, Brad. What's up, man? How you doing, bud?
Oh, I've been better.
Yeah. So are you echoing C-Bomb there a little bit?
I am. I wasn't going to say anything yesterday. I was like, all right, maybe they made that move to get some pieces to make a play. Let's see what happens. Stearns has been doing good. No, I think this is a complete failure. Happened to the fans. All about let's just put more people in the seats for years to come. That would have been a great philosophy if you're the Twins and have won the big show. Well, we haven't. We have to go all in when we have a chance. They didn't, and I think the team came out swinging their bats after the break to show, hey guys, we can do this. Give us a little help and we'll get there. They didn't do it, and I think the team is going to just flounder from here on out. They might win the division because we're in such a terrible division, but beyond that, one more year, great. We made the playoffs, and we're out in the first round.
Man, and you're a big Brewers fan there too, buddy, aren't you?
I am. From the day I was,
conceived.
It's disappointing.
Yeah, I could hear it in your voice too. You're just down and disappointed about this. Is it more with the hater trade or the lack of bringing in a bat? Which one hurts more?
The bats. I'm a realistic. I'm realistic when it comes to a talent like Hader. We're going to have to get something for him sometime. I'd rather, if we're making a run for it, we keep the best closer in baseball. But if it would have helped us become a better team, I could have got behind it. But this is just, they're giving us nothing. They took away something that we loved, and it doesn't, like Steve said, doesn't make any sense to me.
All right. Hey, well, it was good to hear from you again this morning, buddy. Appreciate the phone call.
Take it easy.
You got it. There you go. There's Stetsonville Brad representing the TC, Taylor County over there. Rest of you, how are you feeling? Are you echoing kind of Stetsonville Brad and C-Bomb there? Or are you like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to stay positive, glass half full type of person. Let's see how it plays out. Are we kind of, ragging on the offense a little too hard when you look at some of the statistics and when you look at some of the numbers and you compare them to the rest of Major League Baseball? What side of the aisle are you on? Okay, I want to hear from you. Hit me up with some texts on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, or hit me up on Twitter at DANKASPER, Facebook.com/Kasper Sports, and the YouTube stream too. So a lot of you, if I had to kind of gauge from some of the texts and stuff that we're getting in, was they're a little bit down. Like one texter here, the thing that ticked me off was giving away one of their top 20 prospects for a pitcher who hasn't pitched in over a year, talking about the Trevor Rosenthal trade. Yeah, and hopefully Trevor Rosenthal is ready to go at the end of the month, right? Man. All right, keep them coming, baby. Little grind my gears action Wednesday. We got plenty more baseball talk throughout the morning with the moves that the Padres did in the last 24-ish hours, 24 plus. Do you put them as the new favorites? Maybe they won't have enough time to catch up to the Dodgers or anything like that. But would you put the Padres as like the favorites in the final run here in the regular season and into the postseason? Did the Padres win the trade deadline? Soto, Hader, Bell. I mean, goodness gracious, they're trying to go for it, baby. If you had to redo your picks for the postseason, what would you put them up there? So we'll continue the baseball conversation throughout this morning, but I really want to hear from you, Brewers fans. So keep us coming with those texts and messages. We'll chat a little bit of football too. Not a whole lot going on from training camp because, well, it's just practice, and I don't want to deep dive into like practices all the time here. But the big thing in the NFL from yesterday was the Dolphins getting fined and losing a pick for tampering with Tom Brady and Sean Payton. And some people, I'd say a big chunk, especially on the socials out there, questioning why Tom Brady didn't get in trouble, why Sean Payton didn't get in trouble. Part of me is thinking it's a little ironic that it's both Tom Brady and Sean Payton, two individuals who have had, some disciplinary issues, if you will, with the NFL in the past. So could it, part of me was kind of wondering, does like the team or does the NFL we don't want to go down that road again with those two, especially with Tom Brady. We don't want to go down there again. But as Andrew Brandt and Connor have kind of put out there, it sets a precedent for maybe the future now. If there's other tampering type of stuff when it comes to players or coaches, they can look back at this and say, hey, you didn't do anything with Brady and Sean Payton. No way can you get me in trouble or suspend me or fine me. You didn't do it with those two. Why are you doing it to me? And then also we will, as we talked about at the beginning, Vin Scully, another legend in the sports world, passing away in the last couple days. We've had Bill Russell passing away. Now Vin Scully passing away, one of the most iconic voices in all of sports. We'll touch on that again coming up a little bit later on too. We've got match game coming up around 7:40. I want your stock reports, making the turn stock reports, whose stock is up, whose stock is down. If I had to gauge from a lot of you right now, you'd probably pick the Brewers as your stock down. But somebody wants to argue that or disagree with that or go a different route, I want to hear from you. So give me your stock reports, whose stock is up, whose stock is down. And as we said, we're changing it up a little bit. So usually we do the Feel Good Fridays. We're going to do it part of our Making the Turn because we're making the turn on this week. So we're going to do a Feel Good story on Wednesdays moving on here too. So we'll get to that coming up in the we'll do that in the 8 o'clock hour, right before our stock reports are due around 8:05 here this morning. So shot clock's going to cut us off, but let's keep the conversation going, Brewers fans. What were your thoughts on the lack of moves from yesterday from the Brewers, especially on the offensive side of things? Your confidence in this team in the final 59 games of the regular season as they head into the postseason? Or are we over-exaggerating a little bit when we look at the numbers, when we look at some of the stats and numbers regarding this Brewers offense? Are we making too much of it? We've got a little back and forth going on there. So what side are you on? 1 hour in, we've got 2 more to go. Stick around. We'll be back after these words.
WAYY Eau Claire.
tuning in wherever you are tuning in and however you are tuning in on this August 3rd. Coming up, we'll continue our baseball conversation. Brewers fans, your thoughts on the lack of movement in terms of the offensive side of things for the Brew Crew, and your overall reaction from some of the moves in the baseball world by the trade deadline. Hit us up with some texts, 715-830-1912. That's Shoe Doctor's bullpen line. We're going to kick it off here with just a couple of sports nuggets of the day. 1936, Jesse Owens won the first of his 4 Olympic gold medals. 1949, the NBA was formed. Happy birthday to the NBA. You also share birthday with Tom Brady. How about that? Tom Brady turning the ripe young age of 45. Mary Lou Retton, 1984, won a gold medal at the Los Angeles Summer Olympics. Those are just some of your sports nuggets for the day. Is Tom Brady like one of those people that it would be like the worst person to try to figure out a birthday or Christmas gift for, Lucas? Like, I mean, what do you give the man that already has everything in this world? You know, like I'd hate to be Tom Brady's brother or sister or a close relative, because what the hell do you get that guy?
I would get him an avocado tree and an ice cream maker.
I guess you could do that.
Granted, there's about a 30% chance he has both.
He's probably going to be like the next George Foreman and have his own line of that stuff.
That's like the go-to with him. It's the avocado ice cream. I mean, Tom Brady's avocado ice cream maker, that would sell.
It would. TB12, put that thing right on there and it'll sell. I mean, I don't know if he's like George Foreman where he's going to have to go on like home shopping networks and try to sell that thing, but I wouldn't be surprised if at some point he did.
Yeah.
So, like Tom Brady plays the lottery. You think he plays money like Mega Millions or Powerball?
I'm trying to think how competitive he is. I don't know that he's that competitive. He probably not. Well, I mean, like I could see him like gambling, doing like the Vegas thing or something like that. But like popping into the 7-Eleven down in Sarasota somewhere and just buying a couple tickets? No.
Nah.
It doesn't quite strike
me. He's not a regular old fella like the rest of us here.
Celebrities. They're just like us.
Yeah. Well, what would you do if you won that Mega Millions, by the way? Take us something fun besides obviously paying off bills.
I mean, okay, take care of that.
Yeah.
Not that
mortgage,
much, but,
all that stuff.
Right, yeah, you do all of that. I was talking about this actually with my wife the other day. Like, okay, what do we do? Like, I figured what would make me the most comfortable actually would be figure out about the amount where you know you're going to be comfortable for the rest of your life. And then donate the rest in some capacity. I've always wanted to like buy up land of places where like stuff that's a little endangered land, that sort of stuff.
Like the rainforest?
Yeah, something like that. And just start buying it up. Like, oh, sorry, mine. And then just leave it. You could probably make a killing off of a lot of that. And then not sell it because I know land values go way up. No. That's like mine. Done. Not sure what she would do with hers. She'd figure something out with that. But not keep too much of it because problems usually ensue when you have that much money and you don't know what to do with it. Then you start spending money ways you don't want to. And next thing you know, you're one of the tragic story of, I don't want any of that.
Mm-hmm. You know what I would do for fun? I've always wanted to do this, but I'd adjust it a little bit. I want not a big one, because I just don't want a big RV, but I want one of those like small truck RVs and pimp that thing out, take it to games, put some sirens on that baby. Because I used to want an ambulance, but now I'd be like, I don't know what happened in an ambulance. I don't want any bad juju or anything like that. So give me the little small RV. We'll kind of do like busing with the boys like Will Compton does. You know, I don't know if you know that blog or that podcast is.
Heard of it.
Yeah, it's through Barstool Net.
Mm-hmm.
But set up this RV. We go tailgate at Lambeau. We're camping in the lot. But then the next morning, we're doing a show from that little thing. Or we're mobile. We're going mobile. We got some grills hooked up to it. We've got some TVs hooked up to it. We can do some podcasting. We can do some shows. But we got the sirens and all that stuff on there. That's what I would do.
The Kasper Mobile?
Yeah.
Nice.
Something like that. Take it across the state.
The other thing that I did think of, sports related, depending on the size, if we're talking like 500 million plus, understanding that there's a lot of tax involved. So you're really talking about half of any given amount. So that's why you got to get to about over 500 million. If you wanted to go the total sports route, try investing a lot of it in a share of a team.
Well, I got a share of a team.
Well, yeah, but I mean like an actual share of a team where you can actually like make money at the end of it.
Yeah.
So like
start be like Rodgers and spend 20 million and own 1% of the Bucks or some ridiculous
do
thing like
something
that.
like that. But then here's what you do. You invested in some team where you think, you know what, the sport is like, find a growth sport, which I mean, granted, even the sports that aren't doing that well right now, like i.e. baseball, the values are still going up. But invest in some sport, find some team you don't really care about too much. You don't want to like live and die on your like 500 million because it's also your favorite team. I mean, no. But do that. Wait for that team to get better, then cash out when the value goes way up. Like, especially if there's a sale, and then you've turned that 500 million into like, I don't know, maybe $1 billion or so. I'm just throwing random numbers out here. But see, then you could become a player in sports ownership. You could be one of the 32 that actually has a legitimate financial stake.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I'd still want my small RV.
You could have both probably.
And then go tailgate and
if you won $1 billion in the lottery, you could have both. You could be that owner. You could be like the Irsay of the NFL, driving around to owners' meetings with that thing, doing your podcast.
No, that's Jerry Jones with the Jones bus and thing, whatever, some weird stuff go on in there. But I don't want that. I want a small one, just enough for like a bed in there and some TVs and some grills, and we'll fold it out. I've seen Pimp My Ride when I was in high school. You can adjust the doors and all that stuff.
Yes.
Put a little PS5 or something in there to play some Madden. I know how to do this. Oh yeah.
Oh,
you remember our old ex-Suburban sort of thing?
Yeah.
Something that actually runs, and you can move and drive comfortably like that. But yeah, that's what I would do.
Not the Carp short bus for those who know.
No, like yeah. If I mean maybe like a little bus, but you gotta really do some interior work in there.
Yeah,
like a mobile man cave.
The mobile man cave.
The mobile man cave. Okay. Now I really wish I won the lottery to get that done. That would be sweet. Because I'm already envisioning you can have it decked out. We can have a little golf net. I can work on the golf game and just hit it in the net out there too. Oh yeah. And up on the roof, we can like have it, rise up a field goal post. Oh, we could do some fun stuff with this.
Still probably could. Maybe, I mean, could upgrade the vehicle we got right now. Granted, last time I was like, hey, maybe we should give this a try. Next thing you knew, we were actually broadcasting from Lambeau Field. So I got to be careful with this because next thing we know, we are going to have this small RV parked out back of the radio station.
No, it wouldn't be. It would be mine. It'd be mine. I want it, man.
Okay.
It'd be parked
and you
in
are
my
on your
driveway on this.
Okay.
And then the wife would get mad. So.
Well, and then everyone would know where you live too.
That's true. I don't know if I'd want that. Okay. So was it just a couple weeks ago we were talking about him? I think you had him on your top, Vin Scully.
I did.
When we had the thing about if you had to come up, was it 3 or 5 people in each sport that you couldn't tell the story without, and you had Vin Scully.
I did
in yours, and the last few days we've had Bill Russell and now Vin Scully.
Yeah,
passing away. 2
absolute icons of their sport. Did I briefly ran through my basketball ones. Did I have Russell or did you have?
I know I didn't have Russell on mine, but I don't know if
I
you
don't
mentioned it or
remember. I don't, because I think I had Jordan,
LeBron.
I think I have David Stern in there.
I think you did. Or then you had like Magic.
Yes,
it was Magic.
And maybe I had Russell.
I'm not sure.
I don't quite remember, and the tape's already overwritten, so I can't find that. Yeah, Vin Scully is the archetypical baseball announcer. That he defined the role of baseball announcer. That's saying something, being a Wisconsinite and being in the land of Bob Uecker. Uecker's probably number 2, to be honest. It's just Vin Scully. I can't describe. how much more do you want to describe Vin Scully as a baseball announcer? It's just Vin Scully. There you go. And then go listen to a bunch of broadcasts. I was really fortunate that in my first years of following sports, that he had just become the Game of the Week announcer on NBC. So while he had national exposure with football previously in the 70s, the early 80s, now he had a national role in baseball, and the timing was perfect. So like my first full season of watching baseball was 1985. So Scully had gone over to NBC. I'm trying to think exactly what year he started on NBC. It was right around then, but he was there by 85 and was there through the end of the run through 89 and then it went over to CBS. So those first years of watching the 86 series, the 88 series, like I said, the Game of the Week back when, and like anyone my age or older remembers when the Game of the Week was actually like a pretty big deal, but you didn't have that many other options. It wasn't, you couldn't watch every game every day. The Game of the Week was, okay, we'll tune in on a Saturday afternoon and watch that. And there's Vin Scully and Joe Garagiola calling the games. So, wow, what an introduction. I kind of feel lucky that that's how it came up. And oh my gosh, just the definition of baseball, hearing it, and there are so many calls. I mean, my gosh, when Morgan was playing with football and the catch, with baseball, again, you name it. I just referenced a couple World Series where there are iconic moments. Behind the bag in '86, the call on Kirk Gibson's home run. Hank Aaron's 715th home run. He was calling those.
Yeah.
All of these. My gosh. There's a wealth of stuff to listen to. We're really fortunate in that regard. And they made it to 94.
Yeah.
Dang. That's awesome.
You know, I mean, this is something I've been wondering about for like a while. And I'm going to try to ask the question so it makes sense. But like, you hear Vin Scully's voice, right? And you're like, oh, obviously that dude was in radio. You know what I mean? Like he had that voice. Do people know that? Like ahead of time, you heard his, like the Morgan thing where he knew when he fell in love with sports and that. Does that voice come naturally? Does it come trained? Like what if somebody is a baby and their first words are like, you could tell that's a radio voice. Do they just automatically go, you know what I'm getting at? Like if you have that voice, it's like, oh, that's what I got to do. That's what I was born to do and that sort of thing.
I think,
did Vin Scully always have that voice or did it develop?
I think to a degree you have it or you don't. You just kind of do. Like, I have always felt like I've talked pretty much the same way my whole life, but when people hear my voice who don't necessarily recognize me from the radio, they'll be like, wow, talking your radio voice. I'm like, well, I'm just talking. What like that? It kind of comes out that way. You can put an affectation, obviously, on your voice, and I do to a certain extent. I think you do to a certain, like all of us who work in this industry, TV, radio, streaming, whatever, we do to a certain extent. But if you have that, I mean, to a Vin Scully level of like a mellifluous sort of thing where, I mean, you got to come up with extra descriptions. I think you kind of have to have that. You grow up that way and you just do have it or you don't have it as much as one can be trained. So I think he was always probably on a glide path towards it. Interesting that you say this too, because there's a person working as a checkout clerk at a Walgreens here in Eau Claire. And I just it's like 4 months ago. And I remember hearing her like helping someone in front of me. And as I'm listening to her voice, I'm like, man, she sounds like she could totally be on the radio. And like I quick brought that up. I'm like, dude, you got like a radio voice. And she's like, oh, okay.
You just call the girl a dude?
Yes, I did just call a girl a dude. But no, I was like, really? You've got a radio voice? And she's like, oh, okay. Like I could tell like she hadn't even really probably pondered that or considered that. And probably is never going to consider that. She's got the voice for it. Like if you were to say, look, you go work radio, she'd probably do a great job. So certain people have that, certain people don't. It's like everyone's got a certain trait that kind of stands out. Scully had that. Yeah, there was probably also a certain amount of old school training, the way to talk on the radio back in the 1930s and 40s and 50s. It clearly is different than it is today. So I'm sure he went through some of that, obviously, but he had to have that ability. You don't have the style, the flow of Vin Scully unless Vin Scully is born with the ability to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. All right. Tell you what, let's take a quick break. And we've been talking a lot of baseball. So one team that did make some moves were your Twinnies.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to get your thoughts on the moves they made. Brewers fans, still want to hear from you. So hit us up with some messages, your thoughts on, I guess, the lack thereof of some of the moves for the Brewers. Or are we making too much of the offense? When you look at some of the numbers and the statistics and the stats, are we kind of over-exaggerating a little bit? Think about that and hit us up with some messages. Quick break, and then we'll talk some more baseball after these quick words.
You're listening to The Dan Kasper Show.
I know it's summer, and the last thing you're probably thinking about right now is the fall and winter months. But if you're a hunter, those months are always on your mind. Right now, you're scouting and game planning for the next hunting season. Deer, duck, turkey, bear. You're checking those trail cameras and getting those food plots ready. But while you focus on that part of your preparation for the next hunting season, don't forget about your gear. Specifically, that hunting rifle or shotgun. If you're looking for a new hunting rifle or shotgun, look no further than Tilden Gun. There's no debating it. Tilden Gun has the best selection in the Chippewa Valley, all at the best price. Whether you're looking for new or used, ammo or accessories, Tilden Gun has the selection to fit your needs for the upcoming hunting season. Stop in and visit with Sean, and he'll help you find just what you're looking for. And you can also visit tildengun.com to see what they all have to offer. Summer is going to fly on by, people. And before you know it, it's hunting season. Make sure you're ready for the upcoming hunting season with the help from Tilden Gun.
Thinking about buying or building a home this year? Hi, I'm Ben from Merchants Bank. When you work with us, you have the support of the whole Merchants team. We share your home dreams, and we'll do everything we can to see you reach your goal of a new home. And that starts by making things easy, like being able to apply for your mortgage when it fits your schedule. I'm just a phone call or email away to answer your questions. Start now at merchantsbank.com, and let's achieve your goals together. Equal housing lender, subject to approval.
Get ready to save with half-off deals. A great way for you to get goods and services that you will love and you don't have to pay full price. Be sure to check out all the great savings that half-off deals have to offer. There's something for everyone, so be sure to see for yourself. Be ready with your credit or debit card and get ready to save. For more details and to find out about all the savings, just go to aroundthe715.com.
Customer service. Those are the two words that my grandma kept coming back to when she was telling me about her experience with Carpet City Flooring Center. The carpet looks amazing in her living room, but it was working with the entire team from Carpet City Flooring Center that she still can't stop talking about. The process was simple thanks to the entire team there. They drove out to my grandma's house, did the measuring, gave her a quote, and they took a look at some samples. Then came the install. Not only did they do a fantastic job of installing the carpet, but the one thing that stood out to grandma, they vacuumed after they completed the job. She kept going on about how the last time she got new carpet replaced from another place, how they didn't even clean up. Customer service. You can expect to find amazing customer service at Carpet City Flooring Center because that's who they are. They treat people the right way. So if you're looking at getting a new floor in your home, take it from grandma. Because like my grandma always told me growing up, because grandma said so. And we never, ever argue with what grandma says. Check out Carpet City Flooring Center today, located at 3109 East Hamilton Avenue in Eau Claire.
Sports. You love it. We love it. And quite frankly, I don't trust anyone who doesn't love it. Do you?
Is that a serious question?
The Dan Kasper Show.
Also want to give a shout out. Last night, I was at National Night Out, checking it out with the kiddos over at Carson Park, and a few people came up, said they listened, so I want to say thank you to all those people. And good to see the Hy-Vee boys over there too. Mark, Brandon, Phil, that sort of thing. It was packed. It was a good time down there.
Cool.
So you'll have to take the kiddo next time.
I will have to do that.
Kid
Definitely.
Hudson loaded up on some balloons and some other swag, if you will, over
Nice.
there. So, but
Nice.
yeah, good time over there. But thank you to a few of you actually came up and said you listened. So appreciate that.
Very nice.
To answer in the last couple of days, I know we've gotten a few texts on this. People have been asking about new intros, new voice, and they like it. And a couple people asked, I've heard that voice before. Where have I heard it from? Well, you know a little bit more too.
like-
Jim Cutler's like everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere.
Yeah.
That's the answer. Yeah, he's one of like. There are several of those voices you just kind of hear pop up here, there, and doing all sorts of intros, and especially hear them more on radio. And yeah, he's one of them. Those who listen to sports a lot, probably you may remember him. I'm going Troy McClure here from ESPN Radio. I think he was like one of their voiceover guys about a decade ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like they had like maybe a couple, and he was one of the main guys and such. I'd hear him on MSNBC a lot, and that's actually where I first knew what his name was because, Steve Kornacki, about 6 years ago, he'd do like this cheesy. Speaking of Match Game, he did like this cheesy 70s style, just like current events trivia show. On like Saturday or Sunday morning. I can't remember which one it was. Sunday morning, I think. It was just totally fun. And he would actually go, all right, Jim Cutler, what do they win this time? And it was like totally tongue in cheek. It was hilarious. And I say it's MSNBC. It was like political in a good way, not in a way. It was like legit funny.
Mm-hmm.
And he said Jim Cutler, and I'm like, that's the guy. Like for all these years, I was trying to figure out who his name was, like any of the names of these ones. I'm always intrigued by voiceover artists, the big names, because they're so identifiable. You hear them all the time. That's his name, Jim Cutler. So he's done work down in La Crosse, on our sister station, with like the Grant Bill Show and such. And then, of course, here, you've started to hear a little bit before. But should we let the cat out of the bag that was not him on a request? That was just like he said the stuff about the silk kimono and such.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's just Jim Cutler doing voice stuff just for funsies.
Mm-hmm.
And we just used that, and it sounded good. And so we're like, we needed a new voice guy, and you made it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And now we got Jim Cutler, and he sounds freaking awesome. And that was a really cool intro this morning, and good, we got him for a while.
And his wife is the female voice, too.
And her voice has been around. Again, if you want to see how much Jim Cutler has done stuff, and it's regular spelling, look up Jim Cutler and look at his credits and sit back and, with like a nice long beverage. It'll take about an hour to drink. So it'll take about as long as it takes to get through his credits.
Yeah.
And there's some big credit in there.
Definitely. Okay. Your 20s made a couple moves by the trade deadline, obviously with some pitching in that. You like their moves, or would you have liked to have seen them do more? What was your reaction?
I was favorable towards them. It was weird because they weren't doing anything, even up to yesterday morning. I'm like, guys, you do need to make a few moves here. You've been struggling a little bit. Pitching's not great right now. What are we? And then the moves happened, and they were both really good ones. Jorge Lopez. What do you remember of him as a Brewer? I'm trying to remember his Brewer days, and that was like right at the beginning of the rebuild, leading up to the Moustakas trade.
Right.
Do you remember? Because I don't remember too much about him.
I believe mostly he was down in AAA in the minors and that sort of stuff. So, I mean, he didn't really become, obviously he wasn't Jorge Lopez
right
with the Brewers before he was sent over to,
Kansas City?
Yeah.
Because to get
for Moustakas. Yeah, he was with Brett Phillips, a part of that trade with Moustakas.
That's right. Yeah, remember that was the first of the big minor like up and coming prospects to be traded away. Side note, Brett Phillips DFA'd the other day.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, we mentioned that yesterday.
Did he get picked up by anyone yet?
I did not see that. I did see some teams saying, "Oh, you'd be a good fit for the Yankees and all that." I'm like, don't put Brett Phillips with the Yankees.
Just our luck, Brett Phillips will have like some incredible moment for the Yankees.
Well, I mean, he's all about having fun, and I look at the Yankees as a team that's like, the Orioles got him.
Oh,
so okay,
well, that's good.
I'm good with that one.
Okay.
Take it to the Yankees.
Considering that the Orioles are generally considered,
he was traded to the Orioles after he was designated. So okay, there you go. Yeah,
the Orioles have, on a related note to the Lopez trade, seem to be a lot of people angry about the Orioles giving up Trey Mancini, Jorge Lopez. Like, oh, you're giving up. I don't think that. I mean, again, were they going to win the World Series this year? No, I don't think they're going to suddenly go on like a 58-game losing streak here either. They're not going to suddenly go back to what we thought they were going to be. But I get the frustration. But the fans there will enjoy Brett Phillips. That's good, even though he did have bad numbers this year. Outside of that cool thing with a home run with the kid, he's not performed well this year. So I see why. Back to Lopez. He's had a big turnaround this year. He wasn't that great of a starter. He started using different pitches. I think it's against left-handers. He's performed exceptionally well this year, throwing in I think it's like a cutter and such. So I might be confusing that with Maley as well, because I was reading both descriptions yesterday. But I do know Lopez has incorporated a couple different types of pitches. He's performed a lot better. In fact, curiously, his most recent Rocky spot, and it seems like there have been a lot of high-profile relievers that have had like a rough July. It seemed to be a trend. Were all games against the Twins. I don't know if that's really even a relevant stat anymore, because is that a bad thing? Because that means he's maybe trending down, or is that a good thing because the team that he was struggling against now has him? So it doesn't matter anymore. I don't know. The point is, he has been a really good reliever, was an all-star, like a legit all-star. They needed relief help. That was my big focus after that Rogers trade that didn't work out, and Pagan being a disaster. Pagan's been better of late, but no, I like the Lopez acquisition. And then Tyler Mahle, there's a slash line that shows him basically about the same as Luis Castillo for a lot less money. He's given up more home runs, but otherwise he's arguably better right now than Castillo. Overall, would you rather have Tyler Mahle or would you rather have Luis Castillo? I'd rather have Luis Castillo.
Right.
But Mahle's pitching about as well. And Twins starting pitching was getting perilously close to the poo-poo platter territory. With a couple good guys and then a little bit, here's this guy's pitching. Who are we? This is the kind of guy they're going to need with the injuries they have on that staff. Mahle's going to help a lot. Solid pitcher, under control for a little while. The two things the Twins needed to do, they addressed. Whereas I know a lot of Brewer fans are frustrated about at least what seemed to be, though I haven't seen as many national baseball pundits saying that the Brewers really needed offense that much. And maybe that's more of a local thing, and maybe we're so burned by inept Brewer offensive performances in recent years that we think that's like a perennial thing to address. But in the Twins case, it was pretty clear. It was pitching, and they addressed both. Will it get them a World Series championship? Almost definitely not. Will it get them to the postseason? Way better chance now that happens, because I don't know that they would have gotten there. They might have actually been usurped by the Indians or the Guardians or the White Sox, and with like a barely above 500 record. I think they're getting to the postseason now. Now they just got to win a game for the first time since 2004. So yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah. We get the Honorable Travis from Maytown with the message here. Trading the best closer in baseball to essentially get 3 or 4 other relievers to potentially fill his spot doesn't really feel like the type of move from a team that really wants to win now. I understand the business side of the move. I'm sure it will help keep them relevant long term, since we were most likely going to lose Hader anyways. Just once, though, I'd like to see them push all the chips to the center of the table and just go for it. And that was kind of a question I had brought up yesterday, that, you know, when you hear David Stearns I thought it was really interesting, because how many times, Luke, do we hear from a GM in any sport after they trade away a player like a Josh Hader come out with a statement? Usually we see the statements like we thank him and all, but explain the reasoning why they did it. Like it was in a fancy graphic and everything
Yes.
like that. And
Long graphic, like a big paragraph.
right, exactly, and explaining, we're doing this to be relevant throughout, throughout the years, and kind of even saying like how many teams get in trouble by, and then they have to rebuild. I mean, he threw that all out there. I'm like, when was the last time we seen that after like a trade announcement or as part of a trade announcement? But I kind of threw that question out there. Do you agree with David Stearns' philosophy of how he is building this team? Or would you like them to be a little bit more aggressive? It is a risk, but the perfect outcome is Kansas City going to 2 World Series. You win one of them, but they're rebuilding. They're still trying to rebuild. Or would you rather be relevant? Kind of like I threw out the example, maybe Ted Thompson era Green Bay Packers.
Tough. I think I'd rather be. I don't know, as much as people talk about the ineptitude of the Royals nowadays, I'd rather be the former. Because a title's a title.
Yeah.
That's why you...
Especially since you don't have one, does that factor in a little bit more?
Yes. I mean, again, to go back to my favorite football team, if I were told, all right, Luke, Vikings are going to win the Super Bowl this year, and then they are going to turn into the Jacksonville Jaguars for the rest of your life. You good with that? Yes, I am. At least I got one. Okay, I know it's not 4, it's not 7 titles overall since '61. They got one. They're on the board. I'll take it at this point. I think Brewer fans probably would be happy to get that as well. So at least you got that one. I mean, 50 years from now, would you like to see them compete again? Of course, you don't want it to be like the Bucks, where you almost forgot that they won a title, but get the one at least. So by that line of reasoning, they probably should not have traded Josh Hader. They probably should have gone more, quote unquote, all in. Now, I don't know how much offensive talent you could really bring in, because it's either super high end, Juan Soto, we're not getting him. The dream of Shohei Ohtani or something like that. After that, like, how many other massive bats were going around at the trade deadline? I mean, there's good players, but unless you stocked up on Andrew Benintendi, or you thought Gallo could probably do well and brought him in, I don't know that you really had that opportunity right now. And so maybe this is where you have to go, well, this isn't the season for that to happen. And so you get out of Hader right now. You get any return you can get. I know there was one of the gradings at ESPN that had like the Brewers at I think a C+ and the Padres at an A- for that deal. But we don't know. I mean, prospects are far from a guarantee. But maybe that's the sort of thing you needed to do now, as opposed to losing him next year and then you still have nothing.
I know we like to throw out this phrase, and it has been the last couple of years, and David Stearns we trust. But it sure seems like from a lot of our listeners, they've kind of lost that trust right now.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have lost some trust in Mark Anastasio right now. Like, there's some wondering, is it because, well, I think one texter said, it's obvious that, Mark Anastasio told David Stearns, I'm not paying any more money or something. I don't know if that's the case or not. I really don't. That's just speculation, but we have fans and listeners saying that too.
Well, and I know this is a crutch in some cases, but it is a factor. Milwaukee's a really small market. There's not as much money to go around as there is in Los Angeles and Chicago and New York. It's just the way it is. So you're going. I think the suckiest thing about Major League Baseball, not the sport, but Major League Baseball, is that, and I know you can't get like the salary cap because it's just that's antithetical to the players' union, never going to happen. But the way it's set up is not a fair way for every franchise to compete in a financial sense. In an intelligence sense, sure. And we've seen plenty of examples, Kansas City being one of them, of teams from smaller markets that have a really smart way of building that can stay competitive. So it's not impossible, But we have had a run over the past few years, and maybe this is coincidence that the smart teams also happen to be the big market, big spending teams. But we've had a lot more big payroll, big market teams doing well of late. And yeah, you can point to like, well, look at the Cubs. Yeah, look at the Mets. Okay, you can do that. But by and large, it seems to be moving more in that direction. And I don't know if maybe this is a crystallization. It's finally happening, and now we are in a have and have-nots sort of situation, or what. But the Brewers are going to be in have-nots as long as Major League Baseball is constructed the way it is. Mm-hmm. Unlike the NBA, unlike the NFL, unlike the NHL, this is the way Major League Baseball is. And so they're going to have to make more sacrifices, and they're just going to have to outsmart a lot of other teams. It can be done, but it's going to be a lot trickier.
Kind of maybe like a Tampa Bay a little bit, and that sort of thing. So
and they haven't won a title either. I mean, they came really close, but they haven't won it either.
So I just looked at. I know we got to take a break for match game here, but you know what? We might move match game to the next hour since we have more time. But I looked up Forbes' most valuable Major League Baseball franchises just to kind of get a sense of where the Brewers are ranked. And this was from earlier this year. It looks like in May. I think we all know number one, Yankees.
Yes.
But what I like on here is they also have the operating loss or operating income for each team. So the top two teams, Yankees and Dodgers. Yankees value $6 billion. Their operating loss, $40 million. The Dodgers value $4.075 billion. Operating loss, $8 million. And now the next two teams, it's interesting here because, Cubs are one of them. And what are Cubs fans kind of with the idea like, oh, they're just cashing in right now? Well, Boston's 3 in value at $3.9 billion, but they have an operating income of $69 million. Cubs are 4th, $3.8 billion, operating income $68 million. Kind of look at where the two teams are and with the other two teams at the top, right?
Yeah.
Loss income. Your Twinnies are the 19th ranked franchise at a $1.39 billion, and they have an operating income of about $10 million. The Brewers are 25th out of 30th, $1.28 billion. However, they have an operating income of $29 million. For comparison's sakes, you've got the Cincinnati Reds, who are right behind them, $1.19 billion, with a 0 operating income, it says. 0. So Oakland, how about this? The Athletics, the 27th ranked team, $1.18 billion, but they have an operating loss, $9 million.
That does not surprise me.
Yeah. And then Tampa Bay, this one, a little intriguing here, but they're 29th out of 30th. They're $1.1 billion valued at, but they have an income of $45 million.
Again, that's stadium situation.
Yeah.
If you get in a better stadium, that
goes down.
Team, well, yeah. And they become way more valuable too.
Right.
Look at Oakland. I mean, obviously right there. That's fascinating with Boston and Chicago, but I think that explains why a lot of their players are going out. And this flummoxed perspective of baseball analysts looking at Boston like you don't give long-range deals to your star athletes. I think that's part of it. I don't know if they're over-leveraged. I don't know if this has to do with the Fenway Sports Group and everything else that they own. Kind of tying that to the Ricketts family with the Cubs. I'm not sure. They're spending so much money developing real estate that they're losing money on the team. I don't know what it is. Those are the easy answers. They're probably wrong. But it's... there's not necessarily a marriage for any of those. I don't know that some of those teams can never get even better either, like the Brewers and Twins. What more can they do to become more valuable? I mean, Target Field, American Family Field, you're not going to upgrade those anytime soon. And that's where a lot of the value comes.
This shouldn't, if you kind of think about it, but what team do you think has the biggest operating loss?
I would have said the A's, probably. Not the Nationals. Who is it?
The Mets. Think about all the player contracts that they got.
Yeah, that's true.
And then Steve Cohen's, I mean, he said luxury tax, like, no big deal there.
I am
so. You want to know what the number is?
What?
$96 million operating loss.
Yeesh. And he doesn't care. He'll okay, fine, sure. I got more.
Yeah. I just want a hunk of metal, as Rob Manfred would say.
Wow. It's true, though. I'm actually a little underwhelmed by how the Mets did.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little underwhelmed by the one more note before we go to break. The one salve I would say for the Brewers is that the Cardinals didn't do that much. I expected.
Well, they got noted former Brewer killer Quintana. I mean, he's just got to play for the Brewers, and he's got the whole NL Central checked off his list for crying out loud.
Probably going to happen.
Yeah.
But I figured they were going to make a big move, and they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that big move was going to be enough to vault them to the division championship. I think the Brewers are going to win the division now. I don't think St. Louis catches them. They'll stay close. I don't think they catch them.
Really quick, interesting truth. Which team do you think has the most in terms of operating income? I don't think you'll get this one. And I'll give you a little bit of a hint. They are ranked 11th, actually, in terms of, revenue ranking.
Okay. I think one of those teams that probably the Giants.
Nope. Texas Rangers.
Okay.
$97 million.
Well, it's probably the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder if they got anything from hosting the playoffs in.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
I don't know if they got anything for that. I would have to imagine a certain something for it. Then they had some pretty big contracts going into the season that haven't really panned out that well. That's got to be it. And there's probably a lot of, as you know, not just the stadium, but everything that surrounds it. Whatever. I don't know if it's like a Rangers Live sort of thing. That's got to be helping.
Oh, yeah. I would agree with that.
Which is why you wonder imagine what Tampa Bay could make if they're in a new stadium that's in, like, say, Tampa, Florida, as opposed to St. Pete, right by the Rays fan base. Because apparently they do really well on TV. It's just people don't want to go to the games because of its location. It's not even necessarily Tropicana Field, which I know a lot of people say it sucks. There's a few people that have gone to games and been like, it's not that terrible, but it's in a bad location.
Mm-hmm. Think about it. The Rangers' operating income is pretty much the same as the Mets' operating loss.
Wow.
Yeah. By the way, Braves, the 10th most valuable franchise, have an operating income of $83 million too.
Same thing, right around Truist Park. They basically built a city right around that stadium. And that's all that revenue going to the Braves. Yep, that's the reason why. It's like Titletown.
You ever think, okay. No, I'll ask this after the break.
Okay.
I just thought of a question because we got to take a break. We got to pay the bills. So we'll do that.
So we have an operating income.
There you go.
Net plus.
Exactly. Quick break. We'll be back after these words. All right, we only got a few minutes to the top, and I wanted to get into this, but since we're talking like operating incomes and stadiums and all that stuff, should the Brewers take a page out of like some of these teams and even Lambeau Field and have their own kind of title town district? But obviously they don't have any title towns right now like that. But it's I mean, that's another way for it's a business thing operate because the name change. I know a couple years ago with the field, everybody was like, "Oh, up in arms," but that's income that would go directly to the team. And since there's no salary cap, it's well, I guess it's whatever.
It's one or the other. Right. That's the way it works, folks. So yeah. There has been a little bit of talk about doing something like that. I think there are these proposals to alter the road. I'm going to look up exactly what it is so I get it right. But to redevelop right around, like not take out the parking, though I think there was actually a little bit of talk of maybe turning some of the parking lots around American Family Field into some sort of redevelopment that would be like what you're talking about, which I think there was this like, what are you doing to the tailgating? That's the first reaction. And then the response, like, I think it was a Brewers official, was a little non-committal, which made me wonder, like, are they really going to just like take out a lot of the parking and turn it into like condos and such?
No.
I know that's like, it's like fighting words. But again, do you want the team to be competitive or do you want to enjoy tailgating and Bob Uecker and Brewer baseball and, we lost to the Rockies again. It's the road that goes, I think it's like Highway 175, I think. I'm trying to remember which one it is, but I want to say it's that road that goes south. And I think there's talk of turning it into having like a boulevard in the middle or something. But the idea being that area could maybe sort of kind of be turned into like a redevelopment was kind of the impression I was getting. Maybe I'm wrong. I think there's some other industrial area around there. I could totally see within like 6, 7, 8 years, the Brewers doing that. That's the trend in sports facility construction. Besides, as much as we were guffawing at Washington, the commies for, sorry, I'm never going to stop saying that. It's hilarious. But as much as we laughed at the Commanders, downsizing on FedEx Field, or sorry, not downsizing on that, but the new stadium potentially having like 55,000.
Right.
That is a bit of a trend of going for smaller facilities. Not everywhere, but a lot are doing that because not as many people are going to games anymore. But the other big trend is making money off of title town sort of things. It's real estate, infrastructure, retail, condos, all of it's basically like, are you a good person with land development? And if you are, you can thrive in sports. That doesn't necessarily work for every team depending on where you build your stuff. But you can find ways around that, like with the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. And we really weren't going to do much around AT&T Stadium, but the practice facility, that is tricked out. Well, look at the Vikings. How much could you really do around US Bank Stadium? And they have redeveloped the heck out of that area around it. But that's not part of that's also city of Minneapolis. You know where the money's really coming in? Again, the practice facility in Eagan. That's tricked out, hotels, all that sort of stuff. Green Bay's doing that with the Titletown District.
That's what the Patriots did it a while ago with all their stuff over there.
Yes, Patriot Place, I think it is. Yep. That's the same. That's what the Brewers are going to need to do to keep up. And I'm looking at Google Maps right now, and I see a lot of stuff that I think could be redone that probably really does not touch the parking and can keep the tailgating alive. I don't know for sure who owns what, like how much would have to be bought out, et cetera. But I think you could do it, and you could probably make something really sweet for the Brewers, and would be a destination. And a lot of us that go to games would go to those sorts of places.
Oh yeah, I would agree. I mean, that's the one thing too. Like, I would like to see, for some of us, the travel down there is just a little too much to go down there and drive back 4 or 5 hours, depending on that. But you kind of add some more stuff to make it a year-round destination.
Hotels down there, you could stay at a hotel and walk to the games, stuff like that. Oh yeah. I think that is coming, and it's going to be incumbent upon especially teams like the Brewers. I mean, think of it this way. The Mets are talking about it right now. Something like that, like beyond Citi Field. Now there may be like an MLS stadium probably for New York City FC, and that wouldn't go to the Mets because they're They're not co-owned. The point being, though, there's more development, and if the Mets are going to do, and they've got all the money in the world, so yeah, the Brewers better keep up.
Mm-hmm. Did you mention something about a boulevard?
Something like that.
I got the name for it.
Okay.
In honor of the Brewers and that Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
Wow.
I like that, but
oh boy, it's
Right?
that kind of day.
Yeah, that was good. Give me a little credit.
Yeah, you got the credit. It's a little dark, but I understand.
I just put that song in everybody's head now too, didn't I? Probably.
Well, I mean, that would be the opposite of Titletown. I'm not saying that snarkily. I mean, it's true.
Yeah, it is. It is. So sorry, but
Can
facts are facts.
have memorials to Game 5 of the World Series.
Yeah.
This is where the fans rushed the field when they thought they were really close to winning the World Series.
I mean, we could, do that for Vikings.
We could, yes, very clearly we could do that, but yeah. All the teams that
a lot of Trail of Tears.
Yeah. The Upper Midwestern Trail of Tears.
Mm-hmm. Oh man. All right, we got one more hour to go, so we're going to do a little stock reports, whose stock is up, whose stock is down. Do a little feel good Wednesday, and then we'll do some match game. We pushed it to the 8 o'clock hour, so we have some more time with that. So 2 in, 1 to go. Stick around. We'll be back after these quick words. Wednesday, August 3rd on your calendars. Appreciate you tuning in wherever you are tuning in, whether it's on the radio dials, 105.1 FM or 790 AM online, sportstalk1051.com, where you can get the link for the video stream. You got the Sports Talk app in your Google and Alexa home devices. That's Luke in the other studio over there. Finishing up this hour, we're gonna do a little stock reports here in a second. Then after that, we'll play a little match game a little bit later here this morning. But we're switching it up a little bit too because usually on Fridays we do the Feel Good Fridays, but I feel, making a turn. We're making a turn through the week. We're getting close to the weekend. Let's get a little good story, a little enthusiasm, make your heart smile a little bit halfway through the week to power on through to finish it off. And so this was yesterday. I saw this on Twitter. Nicole Menor, she had posted these pictures. She's a sports anchor and reporter for Fox 11 News in Green Bay. But I know last week one of my feel-good stories was I love the bike tradition in Green Bay, and I thought it was awesome to see Matt LaFleur participating in it too. You know how many other coaches that hop on a bike? Obviously, age and all that sort of stuff. I know, younger guy and all that, but still,
not too many.
It's still cool to see, head coach doing that, and these players with these kids and seeing these kids and how excited they were. This was awesome to see yesterday. So there's this little girl, decked out in her Packers gear. Not with a bike or anything like that, but she's sitting outside where the players walk, having a little tea party with her tea, glasses or teacups and tea kettle, having a little tea party, and a bunch of Packers stopped by to have tea with her. That's so cool.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, this little girl, she's got like her pink and blue tea set. Chris Barnes and a couple other Packers stopping by and having some tea with her. So I'm like, if you want to smile today, look at those pictures right there. With that cute girl with her tea party going on and having those players stop by it.
Oh my gosh, that is the best.
Right?
I love that.
So there's your feel good Wednesday thing right there.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So well done. That's that's why, was it Charles Barkley that said that I'm not a role model or something like that? Was that his quote?
Yes, it was that commercial. I can picture it right now.
Yeah.
I can watch it. Yes.
But you know what? Some of these kids, seeing the smiles on their face by just being close to players like that, they may not even know who they are, but knowing that they're a Packer player or they're a Twins player, whatever, that's why we grow up to love sports, is because of moments like that when you're a kid.
Yeah,
seeing that. So
that helps. That's inspiration. That makes fans. That's what every sports league wants to see happen, and that's great that. It's great that it happened right there. It's really cool.
Look up those or maybe I'll post up those pictures a little bit later. You know what? I'll retweet them. How about that? I'll retweet them so you can see them there. So, all right, let's do some stock reports now. Whose stock is up? Luke, you go first.
I will say the Twins.
Okay.
I mean, again, is this the sort of thing that wins in the World Series? No. I don't think anyway, but it gets them more competitive. I think this helps them get into the playoffs almost for sure now. I don't be too immediate and look at last night's result and say, after that, they lost to the Tigers. Okay, yeah, well, I mean, you can't win every single game. And I always kind of put an asterisk on, like, trade night performances, because the team might be a little bit out of sorts because they're rejuggling stuff around. And I know if you're sending off prospects, that shouldn't really matter, but sometimes it does, and stuff gets weird. That is a good thing. They addressed what they needed to address. More competitive. Who knows? Maybe they got a break and something actually does happen in the playoffs. But I'm putting a little bit more stock in them than I would have even, say, 24 hours ago when it was crickets. Yes, stock rising in a small way. I'd say that.
I am going to go with baseball, but if you're a Padres fan, you got to be pretty pumped right now, don't you?
Wow.
I mean, the 24 plus hours that your team went through, that's the definition of a team putting all their chips in the middle and going for it. Josh Hader, you get Bell. Oh, and some dude named Juan Soto, who some analysts or insiders are calling like the next Ted Williams, for crying out loud.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to get him, because I would feel pretty darn confident that the Padres are going to be able to keep Juan Soto around for a little bit. And you're pairing him up with the youngster Fernando Tatis Jr. If you're a Padres fan, you got to be feeling pretty good right now.
And Manny Machado.
Machado. So, yeah, if I'm a Dodgers fan or, a Padres fan, I'm pretty pumped right now.
Well,
I'm really pumped.
Padres have been around exactly as long as the Milwaukee Brewers, of course, with the exception of the Brewers 1 year as the Pilots. But the franchise, the organization has been around the same amount of time. And have one of the longest stretches of no titles among the 4 main professional sports. Let's see if this actually works. The Padres have had a bit of a history of going all in and it not working, but I think at some point, I think it's going to work. And it may not even work this year, but they are set up for the next few years potentially to do really well. I mean, remember, they also just had a big extension with Joe Musgrove.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wow. Just wow.
Yeah, and I think, when you look at it, I mean, I thought, they got the last offseason. I love their manager hire, Bud Black, bringing him over from the Oakland A's.
Or Melvin.
No, sorry. That's it. Bud Black. Wow, that's a throwback.
Former Padres.
Bob Melvin. Sorry.
He is a really good. Here's an indicator of how this is being looked at. From the Ringer, they have their winners and losers. And some of their winners, they have the Yankees, the Stros, the Mariners, the Twins. They actually have the Brewers in this interesting category called "We can rebuild him. We have the technology." It's kind of in the midpoint. It's kind of they're basically saying, "Look, that's what we do. We develop really good relievers, and we're going to do that again." There's a case to be made for that, which actually kind of ties into my stock follower, but I'll get to that. The category for the Padres is whatever goes beyond winning. That's just what they did.
But they've also put a lot of pressure on themselves if they don't get it done this year.
Yes, completely. Brandon Drury left him out. He came over.
Yeah, that was the guy I wanted the Brewers to go after and get. I mean, they don't even. I was looking at the prospective lineup for the Padres. They don't even have him as a starter on there, for crying out loud.
This is getting into like Kentucky basketball territory of like, why are you bringing that guy on? He's not even going to play this year, and he's a top 5 pick. What's going on?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm not anti-Padre. I hope they win. But wow.
Yeah, that's something. So
yeah.
I want to do one more stock riser though too. I do have a negative or a faller, but I do want to put one more.
Okay.
Football's back tomorrow. All right, there we go. Hall of Fame game, baby. Raiders, Jaguars. Get pumped. Get pumped, man.
With backups for the Jags.
You know it.
Woo!
Football is back.
Yay.
Although it's more so, it's good to see Leroy Butler getting inducted to the Hall of Fame too.
It
so
is.
That too.
I'm still surprised at how the Hall of Fame but I mean, baseball again snuck up on me. Like, oh, right, that's like today, right?
Yeah.
But even football again, like
this one actually, I'm surprised. I agree with you. It's snuck up where usually NFL they don't sneak up on anybody. They make sure to put it in your face that it's coming.
And it's
kind
not.
of quiet,
if it wasn't for the Leroy Butler stuff, I don't think I would have heard anything about it. I'm only seeing Butler stuff because, of course, following Packer stuff, of course, it's going to get pushed towards you. So I see more of that. Yeah, a little surprising. Curious to see what the ratings are in this one as well, because I think the numbers have, again, slightly declining, but that's the linear TV thing.
Right.
Again, if I turn it on at all, it's not at all I mean, if you're a hardcore Raiders or Jaguars fan, you want to scout the teams. I understand that. That actually makes sense. But otherwise, it's more just to have it on in the background. That's part of the reason why you turn those games on. It's background music, in effect.
All right. Stock follows.
You know what? Josh Hader. I think the Brewers got ahead of either losing him entirely or potentially if they needed to make a trade, let's say next year, for whatever reason, the team's not working out. I'm not putting too much stock in how he's performed over the last month and a half, though the numbers aren't good. There are 2 games in particular that have really added to that, but the numbers haven't been great. But I've had this nagging feeling that he's going to, quote unquote, lose it. And I don't know, and maybe I'm permanently wrong on that. But man, he seems like the kind of player that's going to be good for maybe 3-4 years, and then that's about it. He's getting beyond that. But when is that going to change? They probably sold high, which means whoever's getting him is probably not going to get as great of a return going forward. I mean, maybe he's got enough in the tank for another year and a half, and as far as the Padres are concerned, great, and they can let him go, and they'll bring in someone else after that because that owner's got the money to spend, even if it's San Diego in a smaller market. That owner doesn't care. He's kind of in Steve Cohen territory. But I don't know that Josh Hader is going to be as great going forward. So I guess I'm going to find out if my skepticism is warranted, but that's part of why, and I know I'm not a diehard Brewers fan, so I didn't quite have, I could see the faces around the radio station when it was announced. Because when it was announced, I was in our neighboring studio, and I could hear the Bill Michaels show coming out of this studio, and several of us then started to congregate as we're standing there, and it almost seemed like this, oh no, look on a lot of faces. And I was the one that was like, you know what? It's not the craziest move. I think I'm okay. But I was also like the least Brewer fan of any of them. Mm-hmm. So maybe I'm a little more objective. I would not put as much stock in Josh Hader. That's where I'm actually a little bit more positive on the Brewer move. Even if I think they should have done other stuff, probably. I think this is okay.
My stock faller, I'm going to go, the last few days we've seen a couple passings from legends. So it's always a downer and sad to see that. I mean, we're talking icons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bill Russell, Vin Scully. I mean, you talk about two of the most iconic people within their own sports, basketball, baseball, but even in sports in general too. I mean, I don't think we'll ever see another player accomplish what Bill Russell accomplished with 11 championships in 13 years, for crying out loud.
Yeah, to a degree, that's because there were fewer teams,
right?
And you could congregate.
But
talent,
unless Tom Brady's going to play till he's like 55 or 60, which I guess never discredit. But 11 rings all on each finger and one on one toe. I don't know if that'll happen again. And he went up against Wilt Chamberlain in that too. But also, I love the line, his career number averaging 22.5 rebounds per game and 15 points per game. Mm-hmm. Old school like that. And then, of course, Vin Scully,
right,
which we talked about a little bit
Announcer
earlier.
Superb. It's of another era, but nevertheless, absolute greatness.
It's legends, and like you just mentioned, eras that are kind of like, I feel like they're closing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They're going away now.
Yeah, and I in terms of like mass broadcasting, we don't really have that. Well, I mean, we don't really have that voice. And some of Vin Scully's styles also, I was talking about last hour. It's a way that radio announcers were trained to talk that is not considered the way to talk anymore. It's kind of like Hollywood actors. When you hear about Hollywood actors, then they talk sort of like this. The classic 30s golden age of Hollywood. You're not trained to act that way anymore. That was a style. It's not used anymore. Scully just happened to have that for a very long time. Interestingly, Bob Uecker came out of like the next era, and he didn't have. I mean, he's got the voice, but he also doesn't have the old radio voice either.
Right.
And we don't have that now, and that's okay. That's just what we're used to as a culture. So we pass on.
I would say like Pat Summerall never really had the TV voice either.
Mm-mm.
It was just very monotone.
Yeah, but somehow
it
worked really
because he was
well.
with Madden though too. So I mean, that to me is the iconic duo.
The contrast.
But that's the one I grew up with. So
yes, the contrast helped a lot. But yeah, it sucks, but it was inevitable. And the good news is there's a lot we can reflect upon. I mean, would it be the worst thing in the world if we had taken this show and just spent 3 hours of finding YouTube clips with Vin Scully calling games and just done that?
Probably not.
I mean, that's the thing. With some of these, you could just do that. And again, we're not even. I mean, Scully's getting more talk right now because it's more recent as opposed to Russell from a few days ago. But I mean, the Russell stories are incredible as well, and the stuff he had to go through. I was reminded of that of listening to some of the recaps and readings. Like, oh my gosh, had to just the worst of the worst. In terms of fandom, the worst. But my gosh, the guy was good. And he meant so much more beyond sports. That's the thing. Mm-hmm. It's so much more.
Yep. All right. Let's take a break, and we're going to play a little match game coming up here a little bit later on here, but that's okay. We can do whatever the heck it is we want. So
play Vin Scully for 3 hours. We can do that if we want to.
Yep. All right, quick break. We'll be back after these words.
The Dan Kasper Show will be right back.
Get ready to save with half-off deals. A great way for you to get goods and services that you will love and you don't have to pay full price. Be sure to check out all the great savings that half-off deals have to offer. There's something for everyone, so be sure to see for yourself. Be ready with your credit or debit card and get ready to save. For more details and to find out about all the savings, just go to aroundthe715.com.
Do you remember the countless times when you were young and playing in the backyard, daydreaming of playing against or with your favorite athlete, or imagining yourself chasing your dreams and experiencing life the way you're supposed to? That's how we came up with a name for Backyard Dreams. Backyard Dreams is WAYY Sports Talk 105.1 790 AM's charitable entity. We have 5 main goals for Backyard Dreams: to provide and promote opportunities for anyone to have a chance to play, to help anyone overcome obstacles to chase their dreams, to help raise awareness for those in need, to help create opportunities for those to enjoy their passions, and to help those enjoy their life and create special memories. It doesn't matter if you are a child, teen, or an adult. Backyard Dreams wants to help anyone. For more information, success stories about Backyard Dreams, and if you know someone who could benefit from Backyard Dreams, just visit sportstalk1051.com and click on the Backyard Dreams tab.
Hey, this is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis
We are just a couple weeks away now from the second annual Casper Classic at Princeton Valley Golf Course, Friday, August 26th. Still taking some teams, so give Princeton Valley Golf Course a call at 715-834-3334 to sign up your two-person team. For just $90, you get the round of golf cart, 6 free drink tickets, some food. We're taking some raffle donations too, so if anybody out there, or whole sponsorships, hey, it's all benefiting Backyard Dreams, baby. So get a hold of me if you want to help out, or if you want to sign up your team, you can do so by giving Princeton Valley Golf Course a call. All that good stuff's already coming up here. It's gonna feel like August is just gonna fly through here.
By the way, was that Rod Stewart?
Was it?
Sounded like it.
The music?
Hot Legs?
Oh, I have no
1978? Hot Legs. Yeah, look up the song. It sounds just like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I might have to.
Mm-hmm.
Rod Stewart, come on now.
Yeah, Rod Stewart.
I
I
just
watched the video for that one too. He did videos back in the 70s, pre-MTV. He did videos for like everything.
nice.
Uh-huh.
Hey, I didn't realize. I just saw this. Do you know where Vin Scully graduated college from?
I probably read it at some point and forgot. What is it?
Fordham.
Ah, good connection.
Right?
Yeah.
Who's the other? I mean, a lot of people graduated from Fordham, but
Vince Lombardi.
Vince Lombardi. Yep.
Should look up. I'm looking at memorable Fordham grads, but
Oh,
that's
I
probably going
got-
to be a long list.
I actually have that list right now in front of me.
Other iconic sports. I'm going to leave it to sports ones because again, the list is probably really long of really important people that have graduated from there.
Nate Archibald.
Nice.
If you want to throw PJ Carlissimo in there, I
Okay.
guess you can
Yeah.
do that. Let's go a little bit. See if I can go scroll through some of these. I mean, there's okay. Yeah, I wouldn't say a whole lot of big time sports ones. Yeah, I mean, there's a list, but I mean, you're not talking a whole lot of like Hall of Famer or iconic ones, if you will.
Names everybody knows.
Right. I mean, they've got everybody pretty much listed as the 7 blocks of granite, but if you know your football history, I mean, they all came from Ford. So,
Right.
yeah, it's like that. So, but
Take a left turn before match game. Some Kyle Brandt retweeted.
How about this one?
Oh yeah.
General manager of the Philadelphia Eagles, Howie Roseman.
Okay.
So current GM of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah. Pretty
Yeah,
good. Pretty
yeah.
good one. Yeah. It says nothing. Well, it's just Vin Scully related. Kyle Brandt just retweeted this from a listener. At least Vin Scully died in a world with only one Roadhouse. Have you heard? Have you heard?
I haven't.
There's a reboot. Of Roadhouse,
No.
starring Jake Gyllenhaal.
No. What?
Coming to Amazon Prime Video.
Come on. Are you kidding me?
That was my entertainment news yesterday on Greatest Hits 98.1.
Are you kidding me?
Nope.
Are we running out of freaking ideas in Hollywood?
Yep. Yep. Because someone somewhere was like, you know what would be great? A new Roadhouse.
Oh my
And the
God.
thing is, it'll suck and it'll make a lot of money and the studios will be happy.
Oh my God. Oh, I'm reading about this. He's a retired or former UFC fighter turning into a bouncer. Oh
of
my
course,
God.
UFC. Sure, there we go. Now it's modern.
I mean, come on. Who plays, ladies and gentlemen, Wade Garrett, Sam Elliott? Who plays that role? I mean, come on.
Exactly.
Oh, it also okay. Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
maybe it will be Sam
God.
Elliott.
Come on. This is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
We're running out of fresh ideas. We need to
just wait till the Repo Man reboot comes. Because it's coming. It's probably going to be on like Peacock or something.
I mean, this. Yeah, I'm speechless now.
Roadhouse.
I mean, come on. Like, no, sorry, but you just ruined my day.
There is going to be a new Big Lebowski.
Oh.
Mark my words. There will be a reboot of the Big Lebowski. It's coming.
See, at least Top Gun. I haven't seen it yet, and I want to. But at least Top Gun wasn't a remake. It
was a sequel.
Right. It was a sequel.
It could have happened in 1988. That's fine. And plus, it's also critically acclaimed. I mean, I want to go see it. It's going to be a little tough since my wife is not a fan of Tom Cruise. I mean, she's not like anti. I don't think she's quite like
I read
Veronica Tom Brady levels, but still.
or Hudson Tom Brady.
Oh boy, yeah. But it's going to make it a challenge to go watch Top Gun Maverick. But I'm going to see it at some point.
This might be a matchup question here.
Okay,
quick. So
here we
let's just jump into it. So that's a quick intro. But I read a couple weeks ago that Tom Cruise is like a for sure thing in Hollywood. You want to make bank at the box office, you have Tom Cruise as your actor. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
No?
It's true.
Is he like the best actor?
We don't really
Do
have.
we take it for granted? Is he overrated? Is he underrated?
I think he might. You could do the whole over under properly rated thing with him all day, and you could make a case in all directions. I think he's He's probably properly rated, actually. I mean, Tom Cruise is in a movie. It's going to be a really big deal, and it is.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
You know who's overrated is Ben Affleck. Not a fan.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole Matt Damon, Ben Affleck thing. I mean, they've had their share. Matt Damon more so. But yeah, definitely so.
Hey, you know who else is from Fordham really quick? Denzel Washington.
Speaking of movie stars that bring it,
Yep.
I'd actually argue he might be a little underrated.
Who?
Denzel.
Okay.
I think so. Well, on
David Copperfield is from there too. Here we go.
There's some 80s memories.
Not the book. The Illusionist.
Right. The last movie stars, I was reading about that just came out about the Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward. And thinking about it in the context of, I mean, a very, 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 very superficial way of looking at it, thinking, there used to be a time when movie stars were like gods in a way, in small g, gods. And that's going back to, again, 30s, 40s, 50s Hollywood, 60s Hollywood. And then it kind of tailed off a little bit. And then you still had Hollywood superstars like your Harrison Fords of the world, your Meryl Streeps. You don't have as much of that with the younger groups coming up. There are plenty out there, but there don't seem to be as many. There's not a Tom Cruise amongst like 20, 30 somethings, I don't think right now. There are some ironically, Jake Gyllenhaal is probably one of the ones that come closer, but can you say anyone is? No one's even close to like a Tom Cruise where they're a name in a movie. People will watch it and it'll be good. No, you don't really have that.
I just thought of a podcast topic idea, and I'm literally writing it down. We talk about best quarterbacks or best players to never win a championship. How about best actors to never win the Oscar?
Yeah.
Tom Cruise, man. Surveyor, best Tom Cruise role ever is Les Grossman in Tropic Thunder, hands down. I love Tropic Thunder, and I get ridiculed for it. I love Tropic Thunder.
Tropic Thunder.
I love that movie. I think it's hilarious, and I get ridiculed. I don't care, but I will say I love that movie because it's hilarious. Okay, love's a little strong. I enjoy that movie, but I think it's hilarious.
Clint Eastwood's never, according to Ranker, Clint Eastwood's on the list. Wisconsin's own Willem Dafoe. Samuel L. Jackson, Robert Downey Jr.
What is this list for? Not winning?
10 best actors who've not won an Oscar for acting. Johnny Depp, could be a little while on that one.
He got nominated for
he did.
Pirates, yeah.
Ian McKellen, Alan Rickman, Ralph Fiennes, among others.
There are a lot of one-year wonders, I would argue, in the Oscars.
Matt Damon.
Yeah, right there. I mean, right there. So.
Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson won? Was it or Schindler's List? Did he win it for? What did he win it for?
Without acting.
Without
acting Oscars. You were being specific here. So there are a lot of good ones. Patrick Stewart. I mean, we could go on. Michael Keaton.
Sir Patrick Stewart.
Right.
Michael Keaton got nominated a couple of times.
He did. Yeah, he's been in an best
resurrection
picture,
career.
Right, and he's been in a Best Picture winner, but he hasn't won for his acting. Is it Birdman? I think also for Spotlight.
Oh, that was a good movie.
Yeah, suddenly, we had the Michael Keaton renaissance of the mid to late 2010s.
By the way, Amon Green says Michael Keaton's the best Batman. I asked him that last week.
Okay.
So no more debate.
Is Amon Green a big Batman fan?
He is a huge Batman fan.
Okay.
Yes. That's why I asked him that. He's a huge Batman fan.
Least favorite, is it Ben Affleck?
I didn't ask that, but I don't know. He gets there was a top. We're getting on a tangent here, but I don't care.
Shocker.
So, right. Variety had 2 weeks ago. I don't know why I saw this, but they had a list of the top 50 best performances in a superhero movie. So it could be supervillains or superheroes. Okay. Number 1 was a no-brainer. Heath Ledger.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what number 2 was? You're not going to get it, so I'll tell you.
Is it Batman related?
It is Batman related.
Is it a Batman character, like someone who played the role of Batman?
It's a Batman villain.
Oh. You tell me. I guess 2.
You got to go to Batman Returns and Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. But the second best?
A second best?
That's the second best one, according to Variety.
So, if we're just, I mean, we could go back in history with a whole lot of other ones. But, so that means
You know who was not in the top 10? Robert Downey Jr. and Iron Man.
Okay.
See, to me, when I think of performance, if I think of that actor or actress as that superhero, that's a top performance. Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man.
I've heard, again, I've never watched Iron Man, but I've heard very good things about that role.
Christopher Reeve is 4 at Superman. I would agree with him in top 5.
Yeah.
When I think of Superman, I still think of Christopher Reeve.
That is iconic.
Joaquin Phoenix at number 5 for his Joker.
Is Chadwick Boseman in there?
He is, but there is a actually number 3 is Michael B. Jordan in Black Panther.
Okay, yeah, that's the thing. There are a lot of good performances in there, but there's some that are more subtle than others. And I think I
Chadwick's number 9.
Okay, I'm good with that.
Chris Evans was at 10.
Mm-hmm.
Hugh Jackman was top 10. Ryan Reynolds was top 10. But yeah,
is Gal Gadot in there at all?
She's 11.
Okay,
and
fair.
Robert Downey Jr. was 12.
Okay,
which is erroneous.
I mean, outside of the Michelle Pfeiffer one, and I haven't watched those enough to really comment, so I'll stop there because I don't want to evaluate something I haven't really watched.
Mm-hmm.
The rest actually seems to make sense, but again, I say that as someone who's very, very peripheral to the superhero genre outside of like the Superman movies, Black Panther, Wonder Woman. That's about it for me. And it's like Batman from 1989. I've seen that, and The Dark Knight. That one, yeah, that was really good.
Michael Keaton's on here twice, at least, actually.
Wow.
He is the highest rated Batman at 19. And then he's on again at 28. He was in Spider-Man Homecoming. So he was the Vulture.
Yeah.
So Michael Keaton, greatest actor in the world.
No Oscar yet, but he's still got time.
Still got time. So yeah, that was a grind my gears from a week or so ago. When I saw that list, I'm like, are you flipping kidding me? And of course, Ben Affleck was top 50 on here too. So
I think I don't know if Browner's listening right now, one of our regulars, but I know he and his kids are always watching like the superhero movies. Might have to run this list by him and see his take.
Speaking of superhero movies, we went to see the Super Pets movie Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Very funny. It's actually, I would say adults might enjoy it more than the kids.
Okay.
I've never been to I've never seen a cartoon movie, where they actually like blank out the swear words. You know what I mean? So like there's they're talking and obviously they can't say it because it's a kids movie, but they have the beep in there. And it's like, all right, I'm into this. Veronica and I loved it.
DC League of Super Pets?
Yes.
Okay, now that I might be on board for that one. I'm looking at the scores, it's looking really good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Keanu Reeves plays Batman.
It's an hour.
He has a great Batman voice. You would not know that was Keanu Reeves unless you looked it up.
Okay, I might do this one. Hour 45, that's reasonable.
Jim from The Office plays Superman.
Yes.
It is.
Oh my gosh!
When they said when there was some stuff in there and they literally there was like what the blank, like what the beep, I was like, all right, I'm into this.
I'm adding that to the list.
Yeah, it is really. Veronica and I were laughing, so it's good. It's really good.
Thanks for that.
So yeah, check it out. It's definitely a DVD purchase when it comes out. So.
It will be streamed for sure on our end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice.
Hudson was like, okay, he's 5 and his attention span's like 20 minutes. So that's about it. So.
Understandable.
All right. So I've completely lost where we were at now. We were talking about actors and that.
Yeah.
Oh, we got on the Tom Cruise thing, didn't we?
Yeah. So Tom Cruise, what's next?
Why did we get on Tom Cruise to begin with?
I don't know.
I have no idea why we got on the Tom Cruise one.
Well, listen back to the recording when the show's over and figure it out.
Surveyor, why did we get on the Tom Cruise topic?
Anyone else listening, keeping track of the show?
Totally forgot what we were going on.
I don't know. We get paid to do this, by the way.
Yeah, wow. Okay.
See, and I'm telling you, we should have run 3 hours of Vince Scully.
That's gonna bug me now.
I know.
All right, next question. We'll move on here. Okay, so let's go to football world.
Okay.
Should Tom Brady and Sean Payton been fined, or should they have at least gotten in trouble for the whole tampering thing with the Dolphins?
No. And I say that because it's on the organization for doing the tampering.
But if they participated, they could have no, don't talk to me.
Well, maybe they're like, we're gonna. I mean,
Tom Brady talked to him for a whole year during the season.
That's on the organizations get fined for tampering, not
I know, but if
individuals.
Brady's participating, I mean, like Andrew Brandt said, it kind of sets a precedent for everybody else.
It does. And so that does need to be worked out because that's the thing. The penalty goes to the organization, not to the player or the coach. So that needs to be collectively bargained. So that can be a penalty. And then in that case, yeah, they should be because, well, okay. If you're like a total free agent, and granted, Brady, Peyton were not. They were with other organizations. That's where they really shouldn't skate by entirely free here. Being not division rivals, but still. Then they probably should have something go against them. There should be some sort of punishment. But tampering, that's on. Okay, I also need to know who initiated all of this. If this was the Miami Dolphins, then they have the most to blame because they started doing something that was not proper by NFL rules. If it's Brady and Peyton that reached out to them, I don't know that that's as problematic, but that kind of gets back to think of other players and teams in other leagues. Like think of all the NBA players that want to move on to other teams. The problem always comes down on the organization when they reach out to a player. But the other player is like, maybe I want to go to that's just them thinking of other places to go. It's never a problem. So I'm really going on precedent as opposed to like, Brady and Peyton are totally in the clear because that doesn't sound great. Again, if you're with another organization. But no, I don't think they should be fined based on the current rules. That would have to be renegotiated.
I don't want to hear about a player ever getting in trouble then we usually don't, but I mean, it's like, I don't know. It just doesn't look good. It doesn't look good in my opinion.
No.
And plus I just want Tom Brady to get in trouble again. Yeah. Screw it that it's his 45th birthday today.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. I hope it just makes I know the Bucks and the Dolphins got a little practice coming up with each other. So that might make things, Brady's going to get asked. He'll deflect it. He'll deflect it.
Well, now in the new Tom Brady charismatic media member era, I'm a little more curious. That would have been so buttoned up where he would have been made unavailable for comment in the Patriot era. Now maybe, probably will happen here too, but I don't know.
Maybe I should give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they kept swiping away the inquiries, no, and the Dolphins were just, adamant and just kept bugging him. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but I'm not giving Tom Brady benefit of the doubt. Not doing that.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Screw it.
Well, keeps him as the pseudo villain in all of this.
Yeah. I think he embraces that role though.
How many Packer fans, though, look at the Sean Payton thing and think, but why didn't he come to... Stop it. That was 2006.
Also,
are we
I'm not one of those.
I know you're not.
No.
But are we collectively as a state over Sean Payton as a possible past Packer coach? Or is
I think there's a big chunk. I was never on that, but yeah, I think it's maybe not as much because Matt LaFleur is doing a pretty hell of a good job right now.
Mm-hmm. That helps a lot having a much younger coach.
I think it's more in Dallas now with the Cowboys.
Funny how Mike McCarthy goes somewhere and immediately the "you should have hired Sean Payton" thing follows him there. Yeah, it's I don't know why I just realized that. I'm like, wow, if I'm Mike McCarthy, I'm like, actually, I'm totally envisioning the Mike McCarthy really face. You know which one I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
The gosh darn it look. Yeah, that one.
Did you hear the so apparently Dan Quinn approached Mike McCarthy, I guess, in the offseason and said, hey, if it's easier for me to leave, because he was getting talked about that and that, like just to get the attention off. And Mike McCarthy said, well, if this was 10 years ago, maybe I would have asked you to leave. Like, holy crap.
Wow. Well,
right?
He's being honest about
exactly.
it.
So,
okay.
But, yeah.
All right.
Wow.
That'll be fun to watch this year.
Oh, it's going to be nuts, man. It's going to be nuts.
Here's Dominic Foxworth with his latest take on why Mike McCarthy should be fired after week 3.
Just make it to the Packer game because that's what the game I'm going to. I just want to see it. I want to know what the reaction is going to be like from fans.
He will be the coach of the Cowboys because Jerry Jones does not fire mid-season unless they're, what week is it again?
Well, Wade Phillips got it.
Okay, yeah, but.
And that was against Green Bay afterwards.
But now that was the weird year where everyone was getting fired after playing the Packers. Wasn't that? Was that?
Yeah, because that was when Brad Childress got fired too.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was like the places where coaches went to die.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, maybe I think it was just like, it was like Hawkins. Something was just wrong there for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Stranger Things reference for those that don't know.
Did you finally watch that yet?
I'm through 3 episodes.
Okay.
Again,
by that way, that song is all over the place.
Yeah. The funny thing is, through the first 3 episodes, it's only been in like 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I keep waiting. I'm like, come on, can we get to this? And I'm sick of people's eyes getting sucked out. I want to get to the song.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that happens, folks. Spoiler alert. Sorry. And I'm only 3 episodes in.
When I was in Green Bay, I was at an establishment, and that song came on twice while I was there.
People love that song. Like, it's become a big radio hit.
I didn't know a rock band remade it.
Yeah. There have been a lot of remakes of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was on the radio, we're driving back, and I heard it on the radio, Rock Band. I'm like, that song sounds familiar, and it was that one.
I'm just waiting for these kind of lame new rock act that does a cover of it. I mean, some of those work out well, like Sound of Silence actually turned out really well. Some are like, really? Why? Again, it's like Roadhouse. Sorry for bringing up Roadhouse again. But
did
you need to cover that song? You couldn't write something new? Are we out of songs?
Jeez.
Roadhouse. Starring Jake Gyllenhaal.
Just good Lord. I mean, come on. That's...
Oh, boy.
And to make it a retired UFC fighter or whatever the heck he's going to be. I mean,
the thing is, okay, it's not the greatest movie in the world. There's a fair amount of unintentional comedy to it, but it's got its loyalists. It's a solid watch on TNT or whatever station run. I'm not sure if that's still a thing anymore, but it was. Yeah, I get it. I see why. It'll make money. And like I said, it'll suck, and then we move on to the next thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right, we got to take a break. Roadhouse. I won't be watching that, just like I won't watch Space Jam 2. So
yeah. Hey, made money.
It did.
And look what it did to Hudson.
Oh. Sucks.
You're listening to the Dan Kasper Show.
Customer service. Those are the 2 words that my grandma kept coming back to when she was telling me about her experience with Carpet City Flooring Center. The carpet looks amazing in her living room, but it was working with the entire team from Carpet City Flooring Center that she still can't stop talking about. The process was simple thanks to the entire team there. They drove out to my grandma's house, did the measuring, gave her a quote, and they took a look at some samples. Then came the install. Not only did they do a fantastic job of installing the carpet, but the one thing that stood out to Grandma, they vacuumed after they completed the job. She kept going on about how the last time she got new carpet replaced from another place, how they didn't even clean up. Customer service. You can expect to find amazing customer service at Carpet City Flooring Center because that's who they are. They treat people the right way. So if you're looking at getting a new floor in your home, take it from Grandma, because like my grandma always told me growing up, because Grandma said so. And we never, ever argue with what Grandma says. Check out Carpet City Flooring Center today, located at 3109 East Hamilton Avenue in Eau Claire. Your favorite golf outing is back. The second annual Casper Classic, benefiting Backyard Dreams, will be happening on August 26th at Princeton Valley Golf Course in Eau Claire. For just $90, you get a 2-person team that includes 9 holes of golf, a cart, 6 free drink tickets, and a lunch. This year, we have 2 sessions teeing off for a shotgun start. Tee times are at 10:30 a.m. and 1 o'clock p.m. So give Princeton Valley a call at 715-834-3334 to sign up and pick your session before it fills up. The Casper Classic benefits Sports Talk 105.1's charitable entity, Backyard Dreams. The 5 goals for Backyard Dreams are to provide and promote opportunities for anyone to have a chance to play, to help anyone overcome obstacles to chase their dreams, to help raise awareness for those in need, to help create opportunities for those to enjoy their passions, and to help those enjoy their life and create special memories. So sign up for the Casper Classic today. Visit sportstalk1051.com for more details.
This message is sponsored by WisCaregiver.com. Have you ever wondered if a career in healthcare is right for you? Now is the time to start a meaningful career, making a real difference in people's lives. WIS Caregiver Careers is a free employment and training program and is launching 3,000 caring individuals into healthcare careers. Register today at WisCaregiver.com. In minutes, we'll connect you with participating employers within 50 miles of your home. Once hired, you'll start earning while you're learning to become a certified nurse aide. Plus, you'll receive a $500 retention bonus. Take the first step that will change your life. Register today at WisCaregiver.com. All caring individuals of any age can take advantage of this opportunity to get paid while training for nurse aide certification. Give back to those who need you the most. Get hired today at WisCaregiver.com. This message was sponsored by WIS Caregiver Careers, a free employment and training program.
Get ready to save with half-off deals. A great way for you to get goods and services that you will love and you don't have to pay full price. Be sure to check out all the great savings that half-off deals have to offer. There's something for everyone, so be sure to see for yourself. Be ready with your credit or debit card and get ready to save. For more details and to find out about all the savings, just go to aroundthe715.com.
Looking to save money? With DriveWise from Allstate, the safer you drive, the more you can save.
Hey, Goody's having a press conference right now, apparently.
Oh,
So
okay.
he's already said more words in that one question than what he did to me on the sidewalk. So
Nice.
Uh.
Driving his truck.
no, this was the next day.
What?
Yeah, it was after practice. He's just walking down the sidewalk, so I started talking to him. Nobody knew who he was.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you ask him about what is he doing with Jordan Love?
I
yell
thought
at
of
him?
him, and he goes to stoplight. Nobody's talking to him. There's like a bunch of people decked out in Packer gear. He's just standing there, looking at his phone.
He
I'm like,
admittedly, he kind of is. He kind of can look anonymous.
Yeah.
It's not the worst situation to be in.
no. So yeah, and that Mark Murphy earlier was walking down. Nobody said anything to him. So
It probably is a little bit of the area too. We don't.
Mhm.
We're not as like, hey, you. That's just not how a lot of us operate.
and you know, I know what they all look like, but you know, maybe not everybody would recognize a dude walking down in sunglasses and that. I did. So
Yeah, most people, honestly, I bet most folks would not.
yeah, he probably didn't want to talk to me. He probably had another tryout USFL player to get to, and
Well, that's his job. So yeah,
tried talking to him, tried to make conversation, but yeah, he was in a hurry to get to that crosswalk and wait about a couple minutes for it to turn green. But no, nothing really. I mean, he's talking about the MVP of training camp for across the NFL so far, Romeo Dubs. So
I am really anticipating because I think there was none last year. The Lindsey Pipkins Memorial.
I had a watch list.
You do? You have a watch list?
I
this
did.
Year?
I had a watch list last week. Let's see if I
Wow.
can find it in here somewhere. No, I don't. Let's see if I can go off the top of my head. So the criteria was if it was a draft pick, it had to be like 7th round,
Mhm.
or it can't be. Romeo Dubs would not qualify for this. He was a 4th round pick. But I had Carpenter, 7th rounder. I had I'm gonna have to. I should know this off the top of my head. Oh yeah. Where's my list? It should be in here somewhere. Yes, I had a watch list, dude.
Going through papers.
I had a watch list. I've got a bunch of crap in here.
We did. You need to put this online somewhere. The Lindsey Pipkins.
I probably should have.
Memorial. Is it training camp or preseason player award?
I don't.
Again,
it's got to be training camp, I think.
Yeah, and I think it's preseason because part of it
That's
was
true because they shine in the preseason. So
Right.
I think you're right.
And again, here's your regular reminder: Lindsey Pipkins is, as far as I know, alive and well. We just like saying memorial because it sounds more dramatic that way.
Yeah.
We still got plenty. We had a whole month of this to go, but you got a watch list. Post it
Tyler
online.
Goodson. Tyler Goodson was the other one, the running back from Iowa, and then it was Torrey, the receiver from Nebraska. That was the other draft pick, 7th round draft pick.
Okay.
And then what?
Because other winners are. This is for when we put together the Wikipedia page. Raven Green, I think, is one of the
Raven
other ones.
Green was one.
Was there any others, or was?
I'm sure I got them every year.
Well, there was one year there wasn't one. No one qualified because I think like they all got cut or were injured or something.
Yeah.
And I don't know that there was any in 2020 because that was just an odd year. Feels like it's been a while since we've had one take the honor.
I know I got that somewhere.
Okay. Post it.
I think
we need to keep
maybe before my time, but I was high on J. Roan Elliott back in the day too. Just saying, that was
that's right.
That was a little bit before here, but
okay.
You might want to add that one on there too.
Okay.
Oh, I know. Okay. I know it might be on my desk because I wrote it out in pen. You know me and pens.
Yes.
Nothing in pencil. It's got to be in pens.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yes, I did this year come out with a watch list just for you.
Thank you.
Just for you because you're the only one that gets it. But I know that the 4 that I mentioned were Tariq Carpenter, Goodson, and then Torrey. That's 3, not 4. What am I talking about? There's an offensive lineman and edge rusher. I'm just blanking on the names right now, which really adds a lot of credit to this watch list right now when I can't remember their names off the top of my head. Adds a ton of credit right now.
Oh, this is awesome.
Oh, it was Cole Schneider was the other one, but he got hurt, so he was in a walking boot yesterday.
Okay.
So there's probably
Doubtful.
one that one's probably not going to make it now. So,
For those of you that want to take a flyer on like 100-to-1 odds, maybe make some coin off of it. Giving the people some I'm going all Scott Van Pelt here, giving the people some picks, some winners.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I'm doing this. By the way, Marv Levy's 97 today. Speaking of old folks who've been around a long time.
Good for him.
He's 97.
Good for him.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
Right?
Just realized
I wouldn't be surprised if he's at the Hall of Fame thing.
Probably will be.
Wow. Good for 97, huh?
Uh-huh.
Man.
I just realized the other day, someone mentioned that Jimmy and Rosalind Carter were celebrating their 76th wedding anniversary. Like
76?
Yes. Now,
Wow.
I mean, they got married like around age 20 because Jimmy Carter is 97 and he'll be 98 on October 1st.
Okay.
Wow, this is between them and Vin Scully going to 94. Yuke's still doing his thing at he's 88 now.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, he seems like a young buck by comparison.
Chauncey Manick. That's the other guy. Sorry.
Sorry.
It just bumped into my head. Chauncey Manick. So.
Vin Scully, Jimmy
Yes.
Carter,
Yeah,
Marv Levy, and
Chauncey
Chauncey
Manick.
Manick. There's a combo of names.
Yeah. And I'll just say none of them have really been popping out so far. But that's where it's the preseason. It's the games, baby.
Mm-hmm.
It's the games. So, yes, that's your watch list.
Okay.
So, I'm going to write them down this time so I don't forget next time.
Okay.
Manick was that guy from, he was like one of the highest high school prospects, but then, he had like offers. Then he went to like community college, and I think he went to Louisiana Tech sort of thing. So,
Okay.
All right. That's my watch list, though. Tariq Carpenter I put on there because he was a 7th round pick, but I also had him mocked to the Packers in the 5th round, so I got a special place in my heart for him.
Okay.
Yeah, because I want to get that one right. Because I was on that one in April. So if he makes it, that's near the top. I don't think anything will top Lindsey Pipkins, though, because that really came out of nowhere. I remember that was at that game, and I emailed you
a
scouting report because I wasn't in the next day.
That's right.
And I said, Lindsey Pipkins, baby.
Lindsey Pipkins has not tweeted since 2021.
I don't mean anything.
Yeah, but he is on Twitter
Huh?
at Pippy_Longsock.
I think I used to follow him on Twitter. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. The rest of you have a good rest of your Wednesday. DP and a Dance, they're up next. We'll be back at it again tomorrow morning, just past 6 a.m. We will talk to you then.
You're listening to the Dan Patrick Show on WAYY Eau Claire.